98.1 million ounces. For the first time in modern history, the COMEX silver vaults have drained below the 100 million mark. A historic low. But it's not that they are draining. It's why they are draining. Exactly 24 hours after the Supreme Court struck down the U.S. tariff regime, the White House quietly signed a new executive order. Tucked inside that order was a legal loophole, an exemption nobody talked about on the news. That loophole accidentally made physical silver the cheapest tax-exempt industrial input on Earth for exactly 150 days. I pulled the vault data. The smart money has already figured it out, and they are taking everything. When I first saw the COMEX inventory report, I assumed it was a data error. Markets don't drain like this, not when prices are near record highs. When silver is trading above $85, you expect vaults to fill, not to empty. So I went to the primary source, the CME Group Daily Warehouse Report. The numbers were real. 33 million ounces pulled in a single week. 26% of all registered inventory gone in 7 days. Then I started looking at why, and that's when everything clicked. Here is what you need to understand about the new tariff order. Under Section 122 of the Trade Act, the President just slapped a 15% blanket tariff on global imports. But this law has a self-destruct mechanism. It expires in exactly 150 days. July 24, 2026. Here is the conservative version. If you build solar panels or AI servers, your costs just jumped 15%. You are scrambling to buy materials before the chaos gets worse. That is part of why the vaults are draining. Here is the moderate version. The executive order contained a critical minerals exemption. Silver is on that list. That means while finished electronics face a massive tax, raw physical silver enters the U.S. tariff-free. The government just gave industrial buyers a structural financial incentive to hoard the raw metal. Here is the aggressive version. This loophole closes on July 24th. After that, nobody knows if Congress extends the tax or if courts kill it again. The uncertainty is absolute. Manufacturers aren't just buying silver. They are evacuating it from the exchanges while it's still legally cheap. That is why 33 million ounces, 26% of all registered inventory, vanished from the COMEX in just 7 days. I want you to sit with that for a moment. The U.S. government, inside a crisis executive order, wrote in a legal exemption, signed it, published it. That exemption makes physical silver the only major industrial input not subject to the new tariff regime. The COMEX vaults just hit a record low. The legal incentive is the biggest in a generation, and the mainstream financial press is covering aircraft carriers and courtrooms. I need to say that again. The government accidentally created the best legal argument for hoarding silver and put it in writing. Now, I need to address the bear argument, because it exists, and you deserve a complete picture. The bear thesis is simple. If Section 122 gets struck down in Court 2, the 15% tariff disappears. The exemption becomes meaningless. The hoarding stops. Silver corrects hard. That is a real scenario. Here's what it misses: the refund problem. When the Supreme Court struck down the original tariffs, it legally established that importers who paid those tariffs may be entitled to refunds. The estimated exposure, $175 billion. The U.S. Treasury is running a $2 trillion annual deficit. There is no reserve for this. The government can fight the refund claims in court, and that process takes years. But the obligation is now legally recognized. Think about what that means. Either the U.S. government prints dollars to cover $175 billion in refunds, or it runs a multi-year court battle that adds to an already deteriorating fiscal position. Both scenarios require the government to create more dollars. Historically, more dollars chasing the same physical ounces has pointed in one direction for price. The bear case requires an outcome that structurally benefits silver holders. That's not a bear case. That's a trap. Let me speak directly to you. If you already hold silver, physical bars, ETFs, minor equities, you are sitting in the one asset class the U.S. government officially exempted from its own tariff chaos. The 150-day clock is not a risk. It's a tailwind. Every other industrial input is getting taxed right now. Yours isn't. If you sold during the January crash, silver dropped 35% in 3 days, I'm not here to judge. That move was violent. Most people couldn't hold through that. But understand what happened on the other side. The entities buying that dip at $55 are the same entities pulling 33 million ounces out of COMEX right now. They read the exemption. Now you have two. If you are completely new to this, here is the simplest framework I can give you. There is a time-limited legal window that makes physical silver cheaper to hold than any competing industrial raw material. That window closes July 24th, 2026. The math doesn't ask what you think about tariffs. It just prices what governments do. The number is 98.1 million ounces. The deadline is July 24th. The loophole is active right now. The math doesn't care about politics. It only cares about scarcity. Drop a comment. Will Congress extend the tariffs past July, or does the loophole close? Share this with anyone holding silver who doesn't understand why the vaults are suddenly empty. They need to see this before the 150-day clock runs out. This is the untold economy. The math behind the move.